Huh. That's odd. I thought that would be big news.
You thought what would be big news?
Well, there seems to be an absence of a certain ornithological piece. A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
What are you talking about?
Oh, have you not heard? It was my understanding that everyone had heard.
Heard what?
Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, a well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, a well, a bird, bird, bird. A bird, a word, a well, a bird, bird, bird.
What's up? What's the Weatherman here? Today we're playing Birds, and I am Birdman Jr. Call me Wheezy F Baby, and the F ain't for fair.
Young Moolah Basin!
This deck is busted. Before we jump into this video though, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, as well as comment what other type of content you would like to see from us in the future. Now, let's dive on in. For starters, this first combo is going to be if you have Warbler in hand and either Swallow or Wagtail.
Have you ever been...
Whoa, let's calm down, buddy. We aren't that far in the video yet. You can activate the skill to reveal Warbler and then put Sparrow in our graveyard from our deck. Then we could activate Warbler since we control no monsters and special summon itself to the field. This will then prompt its effect to choose to summon a monster from either our hand or our graveyard. Of course, we're going to choose that Sparrow from our graveyard that we just sent there via the skill. On summon, we will be able to activate to search for one level 1 winged beast monster from our deck, and we're going to be searching for Canary. Now that Canary's in our hand, we could overlay our 2 monsters on the field into Nightingale. And since it was Xyz summoned using Sparrow as material, it will be untargetable. Now we could activate Nightingale's effect, but only because we want to detach a material. Detach Sparrow because we do want to make another Xyz untargetable. Now, we can activate Canary to special summon Sparrow from our grave again, as well as itself. Then we could Xyz those 2 materials that we just summoned to the field into Recital, whose first effect is going to be to target 1 monster that we control and boosted by 300 attack. Its second effect will be to search for 1 level 1 winged beast as well via the cost of detaching a material. Recital also makes us share any damage taken via attacks that it is involved in, so that is pretty nice. I detach Sparrow typically, but it's not all that deep at this point in the combo. We will be searching for Swallow if we have Wagtail, and we will be searching for Wagtail if we have Swallow. Swallow will special summon a bird from our hand, which will be Wagtail, so we can finally pop the question to Wagtail that we've always wanted to ask.
Have you ever been swallowed up?
Once Wagtail hits the field, we'll be able to activate her effect to grab a Lyrilusc spell/trap from our deck, which will be Bird Sanctuary. This is really important because if we don't make a safe place for the birds, then things could get really dicey, and none of us want any of that. Now, we could overlay into Ensemble Robin. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not, but I'm not Mechlord, so I don't have a cool French accent to just throw on top of card names when I want to. On Summon a Robin, Swallow will give it the effect to attach a bird from our graveyard as material, which will give it 3 material. This is very important because it does give us an additional effect we could activate with Bird Sanctuary, but I won't jump too far ahead. Also, Wagtail will let us attach it as material from our graveyard to a bird Xyz that we control, so feel free to detach him as cost for whatever Xyz that he is connected to. Now we can activate Bird Sanctuary to draw a card because we control an Xyz with 3 or more material, and we could activate the second effect to target 2 Xyz monsters we control to make one of those Xyz and all of their material go to the other. In this scenario, we'll be making Recital the material for Robin, which will give Robin 5 disruptions.
How do you have 5 disruptions? I'm so confused.
Hey, no talking in the class. But you're right. I forgot to say what Robin does. If your opponent special summons a monster, then we can detach 1 material to target that monster and return it to the hand. This isn't once per turn, so we can do this 5 times to our opponent. And because of Nightingale, even though it's not protected from targeting effects, it is still protected from destruction because as a quick effect, Nightingale can protect any bird from destruction. Also, we take no battle damage. This actually combos very nicely with Recital, who makes our opponents share damage we take from attacks involving it. Nightingale essentially makes the damage one-sided because we can't take any battle damage. The next line you might need to know is the 1-card combo. If you have only a Canary in hand. If you have only Canary, then we'll activate the skill to reveal Canary and send Wagtail to the graveyard, this time instead of Sparrow. Then we'll use Canary to special summon it from the graveyard, and this time we'll use Wagtail to search for bird cards.
to that boy.
Now we'll exceed into Recital and make sure you summon him into the main monster zone. Now we can activate Bird Call to add Sparrow from our deck to our hand. Then we could activate Recital by detaching Wagtail, because you always detach Wagtail and don't you forget it. Recital will search for Swallow, and Swallow will summon itself plus Sparrow, and Sparrow will be able to add one level 1 winged beast. This time we'll be adding to our hands a Diddy Crow, because come on now, we like to party over here. Now we can overlay Swallow and Sparrow into Nightingale, which will be untargetable now. Now we just activate Wagtail from the graveyard to attach itself to Nightingale, and boom, your 1-card board has been assembled. Obviously this isn't as good a board as the 2-card board, but it is still a pretty safe board. Going second, the only difference with these hands is you probably want to swap Robin for Thrust depending on the scenario. If you're facing a deck that has back row, Thrust is going to be able to remove a back row via detaching a material. It also will make one of your monsters gain attack if they attack, so that is another thing to combo up with our Nightingale if we're trying to go for game. So having Recital on the field or Thrust alongside Nightingale is also a pretty solid option. There's just a lot of ways to win, and none of them really required getting rid of anything our opponent controls. So it's kind of dope. We really don't have to acknowledge our opponent's board. We can kind of just swing right over whatever they have, and we're untargetable, which makes most back row kind of null and void, which is why I play Lance, because a lot of people are playing Book of Eclipse just to stop us, or even Drowning Mirror Forces and things of that nature. Matter of fact, while we're here, let me just talk about a couple cards that could kind of help go against the deck. If you're playing things like a Kiteroid, obviously, a Sphere Kariba would be very nice against the deck. Like I said, Drowning Mirror Force, but I am not a great fan of Battle Traps. There's also a new ritual monster that we got in the new box, Raging Storm Dragon. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard this card and negate the attack, and if you do negate that monster's effects, this is permanent, so we wouldn't be able to attack. We'd be continuously negated. We'd be permanently negated. We don't have the multiple attacks, and he would have stopped us. So that's also another good card that we could play. So now that I done ran through all of that, you see the cards in my main deck, you see the cards in my extra. You're probably asking why Cannon and Neo are there, and I'll just keep it a buck with you, big dog. Our extra deck doesn't matter all that deeply. As long as you've got one Ensemble Blue in there, or that one Nightingale in there, and then you throw in at least 2 Recital, 2 Thrust, your extra deck is done. Can't really play anything else anyway. We're a rank 1 deck. So put whatever the hell you want in there. I don't care. Put a burger in there, bro. I'm not gonna judge you this time. You are perfectly fine. Now that that's all done, let's jump right into some gameplay. We play the deck with Lulu Obsidian. Look at her. Look at her. She's so adorable. Come on now. And I forgot to tell you about the second portion of the skill, so I'm gonna tell you right now. If your opponent controls a monster, you can send one monster from your field to the graveyard, then play one Lyrilusc monster from your deck to the field and face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. So this helps us play through disruptions if they book us. The same stuff with Star Seraph, to be honest. If they book us, flip us, any type of thing like that, we could just send one of our Lyrilusc to the graveyard, bring another one out, preferably maybe a Sparrow or something, so that we could be untargetable, or you know, just depending on what you want to do. If you could detach it, maybe you want to summon Wagtail, so you can detach it, then use Canary to summon it so that you can search for a spell trap, you know, whatever, etc, etc. So let's get into the replays. Let's go. I'm going first. You see the hand. You already know what we're about to do if you was paying attention. So we're gonna send Sparrow to the graveyard and we're gonna activate it. Come on now. I choose you, Canary. Hit the field. I also choose you, Sparrow. Hit the field. Sparrow's gonna activate, and we're gonna add one level 1 monster, one level 1 winged beast monster from our deck to our hand. Now we're gonna exceed, summon, and overlay into our boss monster of the deck, Nightingale. Go ahead and hit that animation on him, baby. I don't need it. I don't need. No. It's not that. No, seriously, it's not that. Anyway, we're gonna overlay into Nightingale. Yeah. We're untargetable. Now we're gonna be activating Swallow from our hand. Swallow is gonna be special summoning Wagtail as well as itself. And now Wagtail is gonna activate to search for our bird sanctuary. You gotta make sure the birds are good. That's step 1. Now we're overlaying and we're going into our bad boy Recital, and you already know what Recital does. I wish he had an animation too. I wish more cards had animations, to be honest. But on summon, we're gonna target one monster and give it 300 attack. Give it, an increase of 300 attack. We're gonna be boosting up our Nightingale. Then we detached our Wagtail to search. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I let it go by really fast. I don't know why. You already know what we did though. We did activate to search. We searched for a Diddy Crow. You know, you got to get that Diddy Crow. Get that Diddy Crow in here because we like to party. And then we targeted 2 of our winged beast monsters, made one of them the material for the other. Now our Nightingale has 5 material. We're looking good. Activating the terraforming. They are Sky Striker. I honestly thought it was Dragon Links at first, but it is Sky Striker. So going in, spazzing, they're going to be hitting their field spell. And that's actually, let me stop it real quick. That's one of the only I don't know why I'm I'm looking at my deck list. That's like the only out this deck has to us is the Sphere Karibo. This putting us in defense is pretty much the only thing that they have in their deck. Their deck itself doesn't do anything to us. We do have the Book of Eclipse here, but that doesn't really do anything to Sky Striker because they're link monsters, and then the only regular monster they have in their main deck can just be, it can tribute and just, bring out a link, so it doesn't even matter. So our card is dead, but their deck is dead. So I didn't really care. It doesn't even really matter what they do. Comboing off, you kind of let them combo off because it's not going to really amount to anything. Now we're gonna activate our Diddy Crow, tell him we like to party. Getting rid of Engage. Reason I got rid of Engage, just gonna pause it here because I didn't really talk about much that they were doing during the combo, but I will talk about this. Sky Striker likes to have 3 or more spells in their graveyard. It gives them a bonus effect to their spells. For example, Engage. If you control no monsters in your main monster zone, you can add 1 Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand. But if you have 3 or more, you can also draw a card. If you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can also draw a card. And all of their spells do this, right? This one, you get the ability to target a effect monster and negate it, but you also can take control of it if you have 3 or more spells, etc., etc., etc. But it was no point in Diddy Crowing anything in his graveyard because he has 5 cards here. So if I Diddy Crowed anything, he would have just had 4. So I waited for this to activate so that I could get rid of the Engage, because Engage is the best card in the deck. But it didn't matter because once you get engaged with the Rage, you just keep the Engage. So we're gonna keep going. He's gonna add some more stuff. I don't even really care. It doesn't matter what he does. He's gonna pop our Continuous spell, which would be a pain if we didn't already get to activate it and give our Nightingale 5 material. So if we would have went with the turn 1 board that gave our Nightingale 5, not our Nightingale, our Robin 5 material, this actually would have been a little bit of a nuisance. But since our Nightingale has 5 material, we are completely fine. He's gonna activate, and I was absolutely disgusted here. I was so disgusted I forgot to activate my Nightingale to make it so that I take no battle damage. How dare he attack me directly? That's our thing. That's what we do, bro. You don't see me out here activating a gajillion spells over here like, if you have 3 or more spells, I can summon a Lyrilusc. Like, come on, bro. Like, I'm just disgusted. I'm disgusted. And then he wants to set a back road and target. Nigga, I can't stand him. I can't be targeted anyway. I didn't even go through anything. I didn't special summon or nothing. I just went in here because we got the 5-time over here attacker right here. We're gonna go through it. That's number 3. Let's hit him with the number 4 and make this game so we can send it on to the next clip. GG's, big dog. If you don't remember how to play Star Seraphs, or you just never knew how to play Star Seraphs, you can go ahead and check out my last video on Star Seraphs. They actually did just get hit on the ban list. This video was recorded like the day after. I think the ban list just came out last night. So I don't know when you guys will be seeing this, maybe a couple days after or something of that nature. So Scepter was just put to 3, as well as the fact that the skill was hit. Now it's not once per turn, it's once per duel. So that does change things a bit. I do think that affects the follow-up play a lot. Doesn't really affect the starting play too much. And it does affect the fact that they can't play Book of Eclipse, as well as they can't play Crackdown. So I don't know, they probably will be playing Book of Moon, maybe more hand traps or something like that. I don't know, so we'll just have to see. Going into Vespinato, very simple play. The deck itself really can't do much to me. They don't really do much to anyone going first, except for the fact that the back row and the hand traps they might have. So I don't know why I said they don't do much, but they don't do much to us is really what I was going for. So we're gonna be special summoning Warbler. Warbler is gonna activate to special summon from our hand or grave. We're gonna choose Sparrow from our graveyard. He activates Crackdown, but he didn't know we had that Forbidden Lance because we keep that thing on us. But he had that Book of Moon. So sadly, we are gonna be getting Crackdown. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be activating the second portion of the skill, or technically the third. We're gonna be sending Warbler to the graveyard to get Sparrow from our deck. Also, I just wanted to put something in the grave for Canary. Now, I did think about if I should activate the skill later, just in case he had Book of Moon, and I could maybe, activate the skill then, the same thing I'm doing now, which would have meant that I would have summoned Swallow first instead of Canary. But we chose this route. He doesn't have any back row left, so it doesn't matter about us being targetable. We don't have the targeting protection, but he doesn't have anything unless he has like an effect Veiler in hand, technically speaking, which actually would be a pain. So we're going to be activating Swallow from our hand, special summoning Wagtail, and special summoning Swallow. Wagtail is going to be searching for a spell Trap, and we're going to be searching for Bird Sanctuary. Make sure the birds are all good. They seem to be all good, so we're going to be going into Recital. Recital is going to be detaching, of course, boosting ourselves up to 300, not boosting ourselves up 300, boosting ourselves up 300 attack, and we're going to be attaching to get ourselves a little search for a follow-up play. We don't really need a follow-up play, but we search for Canary just in case. You never know what they have in their hand, so I got the Canary for just in case. Activating the Sanctuary, as well as activating the Wagtail from the graveyard to attach itself onto our Nightingale, and now we've got 3 attacks so far, and as soon as we activate Bird Sanctuary, you already know what it does. We're going to be targeting 2 of our Xyzs, giving ourselves 5 attack as soon as we put the Recital onto the Nightingale. Anyway, where's my ref at? I need a count. 5-time champion, let's go.
Why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the Weatherman. I ain't asking to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean, so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream, so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon, they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast.